You're holding a cup of coffee when someone comes along and bumps into you or shakes your arm, making you spill your coffee everywhere. Why did you spill the coffee? Because someone bumped into me. Wrong answer. You spilled the coffee because there was coffee in your cup. Had there been tea in your cup, you would have spilled tea. Whatever is inside the cup is what will spill out. Therefore, when life comes along and shakes you, which will happen, whatever is inside you will come out. It's easy to fake it until you get rattled. As a side job that I do, I edit videos for the grief recovery method. And the videos that I edit are all testimonials from grief recovery specialists who all work with grievers. Grievers come to the process thinking they're going to work on one thing and recognizing their cup has been full ever since age 12 or 13. What's just happened recently, yes, it was a loss, and yes, it was traumatic, but actually what they start looking at is mapping out all the losses that they've had over a lifetime. And it sounds daunting, but it's so healing. So, if you moved when you were 5, and then your dog died when you were 8, and then your best friend moved away when you were 10, and you had to go to a new school when you were 12, and your parents got divorced when you were 13, and then you fell and broke your leg when you were 15, and then you see where I'm headed with this. All of those kinds of things are losses, and they're the coffee in the cup that we're keeping in there. And all of the old adages that we hear, time heals all wounds, they're in a better place now. They're in God's hands. It's not that that's wrong. It's just that those things will disregard and put someone's grief into a place that sort of tells them, I really don't want to hear about what you're dealing with because it's too triggering for me. So please, it's like, I want you to get over it, but I really want you to get over it quickly. So pull up your bootstraps. Let's get over it quickly because there's more fish out in the sea. So all of those things are how we've been trained, not to any fault of our own, and all with great intention. But the patterns that we've learned to talk to people about their losses and their grief don't give them the space to talk about it and empty their cup to get the coffee out. So in order to give people space, we just have to learn how to be better listeners. Sometimes you feel like, I really don't know if I want to hear about it. That's such a major loss, or that's so hard. But really all you have to ask is, how is today? How are you doing right now in this moment? And it gives them the opportunity to open the door and just speak from that place. And sometimes that's all they need, is to know, someone wants to hear me. So a lot of times people come to the method thinking, I'm going to work on this most recent one, but they end up working on one that was sort of like a foundational loss that's been coloring everything that's happened since, because they all kind of accumulate. One loss, you put on a heavy coat. 2 losses, you put on 2 heavy coats. 3, etc. You get the idea, until at some point you just can't get your arms into another coat, and at some point you got to spill the coffee. I personally have gone through the grief recovery method. I think it's 5 times now, and worked on 5 different losses in my life and 5 different relationships. And I can't even begin to tell you how much freer I feel. If you have a really difficult relationship with someone, how you get that knot in your heart when you think of them. The grief recovery method has sanded all that down a bit. It doesn't mean that everything's perfect with that person, but I don't any longer feel that rage or anger or whatever that can come up when you have all this history that kind of locked those feelings into place. It frees you. Empties some of that coffee out so that if somebody comes along and bumps into you, no big deal.